Guess what, guys? I'm a world changer, feminist, heterosexual, and human alien hybrid. I'm a feminist in that I believe that women deserve the same rights and opportunities as blokes. And I'm also working with Charlotte, a very French name, to be creating the capacity for women to be creating gender equality and gender equality in the workforce for women and girls, hopefully in the not distant future. Find money worth it. I'm one of the best trusted advisors here on planet Earth, and I'm definitely a biological son of Yahweh from heaven, so I'm definitely good, and with Jesus Christ from heaven most definitely being my biological stepbrother, which my good friend Melania Trump, former First Lady of the United States of America, and her team will definitely confirm. So definitely call them on the telephone for their accurate and unbiased evaluation of me, because they know me and my work very, very well. So guess what, guys and girls? So I'm John Anthony Paul Patterson, and I stutter. That's right, I'm John Anthony Paul Patterson, and I stutter. So I definitely am interested in improving the quality of my speech, and sure, there is much scope still left for me to be improving the quality of my speech as I aim to try to create a voice which is pleasing to the ear. So sure, I have come a long way, yet I'm John Anthony Paul Patterson, and I stutter. And with this video post being to do with innovation and strategy and the creation of future intelligence sections as a way to guide government, corporations, and also high net worth people. And also, I have a few good friends from present New World Order who are TS75, which is a far, far higher level of an alpha black current security clearance than that of the President of the United States of America. I'm relaxed. And with the quality of my recent work, the current security, the alpha black current security clearance from my main G Suite account has been, and other online accounts, has been going through the roof, with me having thought of and developed a project which is one of the most highly classified projects within the entire history of the present New World Order. So obviously I'm saying I do reasonably impressive work, I'm saying, with my work, and with some of my work being far, far, far higher than any work of the President of the United States of America, and far, far, far higher than any work of the Director of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. I work reasonably hard, and I'm someone who most definitely doesn't disappoint. And if I'm trying to deceive you, I'm willing to be tortured to death by blowtorch. I say this because I'm definitely not trying to deceive you. So I work reasonably hard. I've done some pretty impressive work for my inner circle, and I also most definitely don't disappoint. So so I do think that the office of the Direct National Intelligence, and also the White House and United States government, and also as well the European Parliament and many other areas, I suppose, may want to be having a stronger focus on innovation and strategy, I suppose. So possibly even having a director of innovation and strategy at the level of importance of the director of the Office of the Direct National Intelligence, and also at the level of importance of the President of America, I suppose, and also at the level also within possibly every single department within the United States government, at the level of the director of importance of that department, I suppose, and also as well within the European Parliament, and at the level of importance of the President of the European Parliament, I suppose. So I do think that innovation and strategy is very important. And it was back in, I think it was back in, on something like February 24, 2015, I sent a 44-page document to John O'Brien, Director of Central Intelligence Agency. I sent it to him via LinkedIn, I suppose, as a way to try to encourage him, I suppose, to be having a stronger focus on innovation and strategy within CIA, I suppose, but trying to build, I suppose, innovation and strategy into the DNA of CIA, and having a strong focus on learning and development, and also a strong focus on using technology as a powerful enabler. And then a few months later, in something like October or something of 2015, John O'Brien then created the Office of Digital Innovation, using some of my ideas, I suppose, from that 44-page document from I sent to him on something like February 24, 2015 via LinkedIn. He's a top bloke, good man, good man. Anyway, so I do think that you want to be creating your organizations with innovation and strategy built into the DNA, I suppose, about having a very strong focus on innovation, strategy, learning and development, and also on learning and development. And so I suppose I guess I'm saying is that there is much of an opportunity for these organisations to, and also the same within transnational corporations too, I suppose, about being able to have that built into the DNA, I suppose, because there is you want to be more innovative, I suppose, by having a strong focus on questioning and testing and challenging and changing the assumptions and hidden assumptions which underpin the theoretical limits of a theoretical model. So obviously you can be working to improve the assumptions and hidden assumptions. You also can as well be focusing at the level of the paradigm of assumptions and hidden assumptions, because assumptions within a theoretical model, I suppose, are often all of a pretty similar type, I suppose, but trying to be able to use innovation and questioning the assumption, I suppose, to be able to create entirely new paradigms of assumptions and hidden assumptions, I suppose, and possibly even creating entirely new nested paradigms of assumptions and hidden assumptions which underpin the theoretical limits of a theoretical model, I suppose. So I do think innovation doesn't just happen, I suppose. It can be created in a reasonably methodical way while also using trial and error and just enjoying the fun and the excitement, where you most definitely have to be keeping the fun, because we do our best work each day in projects that matter when we keep the fun. So about having the wisdom of testing the theoretical limits, I suppose, via being able to change the nested paradigms of assumptions and hidden assumptions which underpin the theoretical limits of the theoretical model, I suppose. So I do think that this is fascinating, I suppose I'm saying, because innovation doesn't happen, I suppose. It happens in a methodical way, which is why it's so important to be a thinker, I suppose, who questions everything, I suppose, as a way to be helping for us to think of new ways, I suppose, to be able to change the nested paradigms of assumption, hidden assumption, also as well even change things within the structure and function of a thing, I suppose. So I do think you're able to innovate via changing things, and which should be, so people should become very comfortable with changing things, about having the wisdom and the insight to get very comfortable with changing, but enjoying the fun, enjoying the excitement, enjoying the adventure of getting very good and very comfortable at just changing them, saying, because that's how innovation is created. Innovation is created via changing things. And you also as well want to be creating lots of future intelligence sections. So creating future intelligence section for the office of the Director of National Intelligence. And also creating a director of future intelligence, I suppose, within the office of the Director of National Intelligence, and also creating a office of the director of creating an office of future intelligence within the White House, and creating a office of future intelligence within Congress, or to advise Congress, and creating a office of future intelligence within the European Parliament, and creating an office of future intelligence within the leader of the nation's office within pretty much every country, and definitely I suppose within pretty much every country which is a member of the United Nations. The same can be true for creating offices of future intelligence within pretty much all transnational corporations, and also within pretty much every management consulting firm and trusted advisory firm. You can be having at least one future intelligence section member within every team as a way to guide them, I suppose, because with these future intelligence staff members, I suppose, they will be from a wizardry guild. Will be either a wizard from a wizardry guild with the special ability of precognition and or the special ability of time travel, and alternatively they could be a person with power to special ability, including the special ability of precognition and or the special ability of time travel from within a special abilities university, I suppose. So you want to be getting a good font, a good Amazon Kindle font, and then to be reaching out to those wizardry guilds and reaching out to those special ability universities, and be recruiting a heap of their wizards and to be recruiting wizards from their wizardry guilds and paying them a heap, I suppose, and be very good to them, I suppose, and also as well recruiting people with special abilities, including the special ability of precognition, and also including the special ability of time travel. So why are we working within all of these future intelligence sections, I suppose? You also could possibly be having for every single leader of nations political campaign, also for every candidate for leader of nation. They could also be having a future intelligence section too, I suppose, and pretty much every single political campaign globally could also be having its own future intelligence section as a way to be able to know the future before it's occurred, as a way to be giving you that future intelligence section whereby you're able to have knowledge of the future, and then to try to find ways to tweak the future before it's occurred, as a way to be creating your preferred future. So having the wisdom of working within a variety of preferred futures to be able to create the preferred future you want, I suppose, because you're able to find ways to tweak things to be able to create your preferred future, your best preferred future. So I do think that right now many foresight groups live in the present and merely just seek to guess the future or to extrapolate from the present to the future. But with these future intelligence sections, we'll be able to live in the present, enjoy the power of now, while also having the insights from the future intelligence sections to know the future and to be working hard to create our best preferred future by tweaking things to be able to create the best futures we want because we're worth it. So I do think strongly that these future intelligence sections will be a total game changer for government, for political campaigns, for the lower and upper legislative house of government, I suppose, because when it comes to pushing legislation through the lower and upper legislative house of government, the government does seek to put forward good legislation. However, at times, even with good intentions, there can be unplanned and unforeseen complications. So what you want to be doing is to be giving these sitting members within the lower and upper legislative house of government, so giving them the future intelligence and the implications of the legislation as a way of effectively removing pretty much all problems, I'm saying, because if there ever is a problem in the future because of a because of a piece of legislation, well, before that legislation has been passed through the lower and upper legislative of government and then signed into law, that there can be amendments made as a way to be able to preempt, I suppose, and to prevent those problems from occurring, because you're able to preempt and create better preferred futures with knowledge of the future before it's occurred. So I do believe that these future intelligence sections will be a total game changer. However, what's very, very important is to be treating the members of your future intelligence section, so treating them very, very well and paying them very well, what I'm saying, because their future intelligence information for you, I suppose, will be a total game changer for government, for the Legislative House of Government, for the office of the Director of National Intelligence, for other intelligence communities globally, also possibly even every government department globally, or every government department within a country in the United Nations could possibly have its own future intelligence section. Can also be having future intelligence sections within every transnational corporation and other corporations, and having future intelligence members, I suppose, within all management consulting and government advisory teams, and also within leading philanthropy organisations and within universities, especially universities, I suppose, and also high net worth individuals can all, and families can also have them too, I suppose. So it's going to be a total game changer, I suppose, because of we move, I suppose, to be having a very strong focus on innovation and strategy, a strong focus on having a strong focus on future intelligence sections, and also having a pretty strong focus on other things like even wizardry enhancements. So we could be having lots of leaders of nations and governments and government departments and the leaders of the lower and upper leaders of house of government, I suppose, and also for political campaigns, I suppose, and as well for transnational corporations and for philanthropy foundations and for leading universities and also for high net worth individuals and high net worth families, I suppose. You'd be having all of them be having possibly even becoming friends with my good friend Charlotte, I suppose, who could get the contact details of who, I suppose, via my good friend Avril Haines, director of the Office of National Intelligence, I suppose, and so I do think, I suppose, being able to have you and your team, I suppose, or some of your team, I suppose, being able to get Wizardry Enhancement saying to increase your IQ to an IQ of 5,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 100 million or a trillion or more, I suppose. So I do think, I suppose, getting powerfully Wizardry enhanced within your budget, I suppose, will be a total game change, because oftentimes people only do the quality of work with which their IQ enables, I suppose. So I guess I'm saying is the smarter you and your team become, the much more better quality work which will flow through from that, I suppose. So you could possibly even be maybe having the corporate board and the CEO combined, I suppose, having a video call with Charlotte, I suppose, is a way to be having her Wizardry enhance you each, I suppose, via video call to be pretty high IQ, and also making you very lucky, I suppose, and possibly even giving you specialists as well, I'm saying, and possibly the executive team could get in Wizardry enhanced a little less than, I suppose, and possibly then the rest of the team could get even less, I suppose, but trying to be able to have ideally the whole team, I suppose, getting Wizardry enhanced. The same could be true for the different levels of people within government, within political campaigns, within the legislative house, the upper and lower legislative government globally, I suppose, also each nation globally, I suppose, and also within philanthropy campaigns, and also as well within intelligence communities and intelligence community leadership teams, I suppose, and also as well within universities and high net worth families and high net worth individuals, I suppose. So we're trying to have the wisdom, I suppose, of giving yourself and your teams their very best opportunities for success by having you each Wizardry enhanced to have an IQ as high as you can afford, and also to be Wizardry enhanced to become very lucky, I suppose, because the luckier we are, lucky is a very important quality to have, I suppose. And the other important thing is even to consider getting special ability enhancement, I suppose, and possibly even other qualities too, I suppose. So I do think that there are many opportunities and many exciting things for the future, I suppose. So The future excites me. Super, super.